Well, hello there and welcome back to my channel. Of course, welcome to my channel if you're new. If you are new, then hello, lovely to meet you. My name is Alex, and if you are new here, make sure you put that subscribe button on, and you might as well turn on the notification bell while you're there, just so you're notified of every single time that I upload. Now, for today's video, we have a new release by I Heart Revolution, and it took me by surprise. I did not see this coming, but they've actually come out with 3 new Heartbreakers palettes. If you've watched my channel for a while, you know that I have a whole I Heart Revolution playlist where I first obviously started doing all the chocolate bar reviews. I still do them now, obviously, but then they come out with the Heartbreakers range, and I've done a tutorial and review for every single Heartbreakers palette that they've come out with, and I thought that was going to be the end of that series, but they have surprised us with 3 new palettes, and I thought I'd do swatches of all the palettes, do a tutorial with all of them, just to get a bit of a feel for what these new ones are like. I was going to do individual videos, but because they all come out at the same time, I thought it'd be a little bit easier to do a video with all 3 of them. So if you'd like to see swatches, a tutorial, and my thoughts and opinions on these palettes, then please keep watching. So the first one is called Fiery, and they've all got like a neon packaging, and this is what the Fiery palette looks like. Now, they didn't come out with one before with like orangey packaging, but this one seems to be like a nice warm toned palette. These palettes retail for £5 each, so they're super affordable. And these foils like in the palettes look unreal. I cannot wait to swatch these. So this is the first one. Next, they come out with another like neon sort of green palette, and this is called Flourish. And this is what the palette looks like. This one is a little bit random, I'd say. It's got a green matte, a yellow matte, and more like, I don't know what you say, a bit more mauvey matte, and then like a purple matte. And then it has 2 green, I'd say 3 green shimmers, an icy shade, and a gold. So yeah, I'd say this one is a little bit more random. It doesn't really have like one sort of specific theme. And then the last one is called Flamboyant, which is in the neon pink packaging, and this is what it looks like. So this one has a couple of purple mattes, a couple of pink mattes, a more like light grey sort of matte, and then it has purple and pink shimmers. Those are what the 3 palettes look like. These all are cruelty free. I'm pretty sure they're all vegan as well. If I remember rightly, Revolution is completely vegan and cruelty free. Oh yeah, it says, oh okay. 2 of the palettes, these 2 actually say that they're just cruelty free, and this one says cruelty free and vegan, so I could just totally scrap what I just said. Maybe these 2 aren't vegan actually, but just this one is vegan, but just to let you know. So now that I've showed you all 3 of the palettes, we can now dive into the swatches. So this is the Fiery palette swatched. The swatches do feel quite dry, to be honest, but I think that's quite decent pigmentation from a £5 palette. This last shade here is kind of like a duochrome green to like gold, and it felt so creamy. So this is definitely like more of their like foily formula. I absolutely love it, but I absolutely love the colours in this palette. So this is the Flourish palette swatched, and again the mattes feel super dry and they're not really that pigmented. However, the shimmers in this palette are absolutely beautiful. Like that shade is stunning. This one is more of like a duochrome. And yeah, again the colour story is a bit random, but I feel like all 3 palettes will work good together. And this is the Flamboyant palette. So I love the colour story in here. Obviously it's just purples and pinks. Again, same thing, the mattes feel super dry. It's almost like you've got to rub off the top layer of the shadow to get to the pigment. But I mean, look at the shimmers in here. Like, they feel so creamy and like wet to touch, and they are just amazing. So I think the shimmers are what do it for these palettes. So first step, we're going to do what we do in every single video, and we are going to prime our eyelids. And I'm going, no, we're not going to try this. I'll tell you what we are going to use. One sec. Didn't see that coming, did you? No, I didn't actually. Revolution have come out with an ultimate eye base, and I'm very intrigued to try this. It's only £5. It's half the price of the P. Louise bases, and it literally looks like the same. I am going to do a video comparing the two. I'm not going to lie, I've already planned, I think this video is going to be in the second week. I'm filming this the week before you're watching it, but I've got 2 weeks planned of content because I've just got, there's just so many new releases, gift set unboxings, I'm super busy with uploads. So I don't think I'm gonna, by the time this video is up, I don't think I'm gonna have done the video, but I will, and I promise you, I will do a video comparing the two. I'll use one on one eye and one on the other. But we're gonna use this in today's video, and just to let you know, this is my first time trying it, so fingers crossed it works. I got mine in the shade light. They only have 3 shades at the minute. I'm hoping they will extend the shade range at some point. But for the time being, I think it's light, medium and dark or something. So we're going to use this. I'm very nervous because obviously I haven't used it before. It's just got like a plastic tip at the end. And I'm going to do what I always do. And I'm just going to put a little bit. Just by putting that little dot on, it has kind of the same consistency as the P. Louise base. So let's see what happens when we blend it out. Oh, this is very, very light. Okay, based on first impressions, it is kind of really similar to the P. Louise one. Maybe like a little bit more drying than P. Louise, and the coverage isn't as good as P. Louise. However, it does look like it's going to be a good tacky base, and it's only when I look up close that I notice the coverage isn't as good as P. Louise. But considering that's half the price of P. Louise and you get very similar results in terms of consistency, I see you, Revolution. I see exactly what you're doing, and it has kind of worked, and I'm actually really impressed. Let's just see how well, or let's just see how eyeshadow goes over the top. But I'm pretty like shook right now at how good that is. I'm going to start off with the Flamboyant palette, and I'm going to take this matte pink in here, and I'm just going to start by putting that on my outer corner. I'm then going to take the Fiery palette, and I'm going to take this middle pan here. It's like a very pale orangey shade. And what I'm going to do is just blend it at the front of my lid. I'm then going to go into the Flourish palette, and I'm going to take this pale yellow up here, and I'm just going to use that to blend out the orange. Where did I just put my brush? Here it is. The colours so far are really pretty, and do you know what, for the price they're really nice and pigmented, and they're blending really well together. I have had very pleasant experiences with all of the other Heartbreakers palettes. Some of them are better than others, but these shades so far are performing really well, so I'm very impressed so far. I'm going to go back into the Flamboyant palette, and I'm going to take this pale pink up here, and I'm going to use that to blend out the dark pink that is on the lid. I'm just going back in with that orange from the Fiery palette just to build it up a little bit more on my lid. And then just using the yellow again from the Flourish palette to just blend together the pink and the yellow a little bit more. Sorry if I keep going down. I'm getting like pink lemonade vibes from this. Anyone else? Okay, so I've put all my lid shades on. I am going to now hop off camera and do my cut crease. I'm going to do it using the new Revolution eye base just to see if this does make a good product for cut creases. I know it's meant to be for an eye base, but I used, before I got the cut crease is it cut crease? No, the blank canvas, sorry. I used to use the P. Louise base as a cut crease product, so I am going to try this out and see obviously what it's like. You'll obviously find out in a second, so be right back. Right, so I'm back. how amazing does that look? I'm actually so impressed. I wasn't sure if it was going to be good for cut creases, but I think that looks pretty good, to be fair. And it really does remind me of the P. Louise in the way that it kind of applies the product. It does dry down like the P. Louise base as well, which I really like. So yeah, I'm really impressed with the eye base. So if you were looking at it and wondering if it was any good, I definitely recommend it. I think for the price tag, it is just so cheap, and why not? Like, considering how amazing that applies, I'm incredibly impressed. So yeah, I am going to recommend it. For my lid now, I think I'm going to take this like orangey shimmer from the Fiery palette, and let's see if this applies well without wetting it. Okay, so that is the orange shade all over my lid. It's absolutely beautiful. I didn't have to wet it as such. You might be able to get more of a reflective out of it, but I think that's really stunning and I love the shade. So now I think I'm gonna go in with the Flamboyant palette, and I think I'm gonna take this pink shimmer here just to start the blend into the pink matte. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of the matte pink from the Flamboyant palette just to blend that shimmer in just a tiny bit more. I have got like the tiniest bit of fallout from that shimmer, but to be honest, I kind of expected it because it is more of like a glittery shimmer. From the Fiery palette, I'm going to take this shade down here and I'm going to put that all the way across. Okay, and then for the inner corners and brow bone, I'm going to go back into the Flourish palette. And I've got to take this bright icy shade. It is just beautiful. That shade is absolutely gorgeous. It's so blinding. Like, you know how I feel about that inner corner. It has to be blinding, and that shade is absolutely incredible. It is a little bit like the orange shade we used on the lid, so it's a little bit more on the like chunky glittery side, but it's beautiful. You do get a little bit of fallout, so just be wary of that as well if you're going to use these palettes. This is the completed look. I'm going to go hop off camera now, put my lashes and mascara on, and then I'll be right back with my final thoughts on all three of these palettes. So guys, this is my completed look. My lashes are by Lit Lash. They are the style Baby Doll, which are my favourite lashes by Lit Lash. And don't forget, you can use code ALIX10 at checkout for money off. I absolutely love them. Ignore if the inner corners aren't stuck on properly. I'm having a bad lash day. My mascara, of course, is going to have to be the I Heart Revolution chocolate dipped. I thought we're using I Heart Revolution products anyway, might as well choose this mascara. My lips, I do have a Revolution Pro lipstick on. This is in the shade Real. It comes in that matte nude set that they do for like £7. And then I put one of the new I Heart Revolution lip glosses on over the top. This is in the style Honeycomb, just so I'm using another I Heart Revolution product. So yeah, this is my completed look. Please let me know down below what you think of it. In terms of, nearly dropped it. In terms of all three of these palettes, I think what I think of all of the Heartbreakers palettes, these palettes are absolutely brilliant for the younger audience or for someone who's in a beginner in makeup. They are not obviously the most best quality eyeshadow palettes I've ever used in my entire life, but for the price that you pay for them, I think they are really good quality. The shimmers in this palette is what makes these palettes so worth it. They are absolutely stunning. I love the shimmers in these palettes. The mattes did swatch a little bit dry, but I've got a really nice eye look on at the minute, and the mattes didn't apply horribly. They did apply nicely pigmented. They blended well with each other. So yeah, I am very impressed. I think if you are a collector of this range, I think this is a great you know, addition to your collection. Do you need these palettes in your life? I don't necessarily think you need them, but I think just if you are a collector, they are a great addition. And if you like these colour stories, like this colour story is different from what they've come out with before. It is a nice warm tone palette, so I think if you're looking for a cheap warm tone palette to just throw on your eyes and you're good to go, I think this is a great one. The green one is probably the one with the colour story that doesn't really make sense to me. I don't know, I just feel like there's a few random ones in there that don't make it like a proper colour story. I don't really know, but I do love the pink and purple one. I think all the shades in here are great. Love the shimmers. This palette is just missing like a nice icy shade. I think the shimmers in here are quite more on the dark side. But apart from that, I'm extremely impressed with the palettes, and yeah, I think I do recommend them. It just does depend on whether you feel like you need these in your collection. They're definitely more targeted to the younger audience and for beginners, but for someone like me who collects makeup, I'm glad to have these in my collection with all of the other Heartbreakers palettes. So guys, that rounds up my thoughts and opinions on the 3 new I Heart Revolution Heartbreakers palettes. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please let me know by smashing the thumbs up button. Let me know down below what you think of these palettes, and of course, if you haven't already, please subscribe down below and I will see you in my next video. Bye!